We're back on Access, and it's time for a round of buy or sell with BK and Brez. There's a lot of questions to be answered for the upcoming season. A lot of internet rumors and social media. We're going to buy or sell this one, Brez. The NBA will begin play on December 22nd. Brez, are you buying or selling?
I'm going to buy this. Too many reasons. It's a lot of TV deal centered. And, of course, the Olympics as well. Do not forget that. July 23rd in Tokyo. That's always been an important event for the NBA. And I think Adam Silver sees that there's a need to kind of get the league done in early July at the latest, give players time to get on over to Tokyo. I just think it's going to happen. A week ago, I would have said MLK Day, but it seems like the tea leaves are kind of going a different direction right now.
Love our summer, don't we, Brez, in the NBA?
Do. Yeah.
BK, you buying or selling?
I'm buying that, guys. And look, $500 million might not seem like a lot of money.
Say it
to a guy
again,
like
BK. How much? How much, BK?
$500 million. That's not much to Brez, guys like that. But to the average NBA player, it makes a difference. And so I feel like, that's what they gain back by playing on Christmas. I think that that's why I'm buying it.
Yeah. All right. Wrap your head around it, guys. Training camp's going to start around December 1st.
Whew. It's like 10 minutes from now.
AD will sign a 1+1 deal with the Lakers. You buying or selling that, Michael?
Yeah, I'm going to buy this as well, Christopher, and I'll tell you why. The salary cap's going to be a little depressed this year. Revenues are reportedly down about 10%. In other words, he can opt out of his $29 million that he's owed next season, no problem. But he's not going to get that massive dollar figure for a big 5-year extension. So I think he's going to definitely take a little raise for next season, and the second year will be up to him.
You should have been in finance. You get so confident we play this game. You just love the stock market talk. You love buy or sell.
I'm such a bear sometimes.
You really are. Bear for detail. AD, 1+1. BK.
I'm going to sell it, and not because I think he's going anywhere or going to do anything weird. I just think he's going to do the 2+1, which gets him the next time he would sign that deal to that 10-year thing where you're in the league and then you can jump up and take the next level. And so, I think the salary cap could be down for a couple years, like Brez says, but this gets him right when it's about to rebound to that point where he can take the even bigger deal.
I can see that.
KCP will return to the Lakers next season. Buy or sell, gentlemen?
I'm going to buy this, but it's going to be a big 1-year deal. He's coming off he would have made about $8.5 million if he had opted in. Assuming he does opt out, as the reports are saying he's going to do, I think a big 1-year deal. The Lakers don't want to go too far into the years with any player. They want to keep that money for next year. Some pretty big name free agents. So maybe like a 1-year, $12 million deal.
Okay.
If he can get better elsewhere, of course he's going to take it if he wants to. But hey, he did pretty well in the playoffs on what's shaping up to be a pretty good team next season too.
BK?
I'm buying it, and I think Brez, I think they would go a couple of years down the road, and I think they're going to have to if they want to keep KCP in LA, because he's going to get a better offer. It's a really thin free agent summer or fall, I guess it is. And so that's wherever we are. I don't know. Time's a flat circle. But, let's say he makes $12 million, $13 million. You can move that deal if you need to sign a big free agent. I think KCP gets paid and stays in LA.
Both JaVale and Dwight will run it back with the Lakers. Brez.
I'm going to sell on this. I think JaVale does. He's going to opt in for a little over $4 million next season. It's his option. Obviously, he didn't play much down the stretch in the Laker playoff run. Dwight, however, he made about $2.5 million. He's looking for a raise. He might get a multi-year deal just when everyone thought that his career might be over. Keep in mind, it was a non-guaranteed contract that he signed with the Lakers. He's going to look for one more mini payday, 2-3-year deal. I don't know if the Lakers are going to want to match that.
Warriors are looking at him a little bit, I'm told.
Yeah, that's a good franchise, too.
Buy or sell? BK.
Selling that one for the same reasons Brez is. I think that JaVale stays, and I think Dwight ends up going. There are all kinds of weird machinations about how much the Lakers can pay Dwight and all that. I think he's going to get money that the Lakers just won't be able to compete with.
Markieff Morris will return to the Lakers next season.
This was a hard one. I ended up selling it. No real good reason other than the Lakers have a few other concerns before they start thinking about him. You've got to figure out the guys we just talked about, Dwight and JaVale. If JaVale does opt out, you got to figure out some of the backcourt guys, Rondo, KCP, just some other things to think about. You can't forget Avery Bradley either. Finally, they're going to get down to Markieff Morris. If he gets a 2- or 3-year deal with someone, remember he got bought out of a multi-year deal with Detroit. I think he'll end up somewhere else.
BK?
I'm buying it. I think if it can be done at a fairly reasonable price, the Lakers can even afford to give somebody that $6, $7, $8 million slot, because again, these are valuable salary slots to be able to make trades down the road, something that's hard for the Lakers to do. I actually think there's a much better chance that they would keep, if they had to choose Morris or Dwight, I actually think they'd keep Morris based on what we saw in the playoffs.
Yeah, BK, you kind of led me my next thing, Brez. Markieff Morris was a guy that was almost an afterthought when the restart was going, and all of a sudden he became a huge part of what they were doing, shooting over 50% from three.
Helped win that Houston series. I mean, he was really strong, kind of a surprise start for him. Frank Vogel, good coaching decision, mixing up that five position, and it really did work for Markieff and for the Lakers. Good range, too. Can't forget the threes he would make in these games.
Yeah, I mean, remember BK Marcus was the guy everyone was going after. Right. He was expensive, and the Clippers did a good job of getting him. Markieff was kind of the guy that was almost like a runner-up. It felt like,
and quite frankly, didn't play well in the regular season. He was bad, but when the playoffs rolled around, they got the value out of him that they wanted, and he really allowed the Lakers to play "quote unquote" small with really tall people, which is a good formula.
All right, guys, we'll be right back with more to wrap this up. That was a round of buy or sell. BK. In all honesty, LeBron going into season 18, he's used to having 4 months off. How do you think he adjusts to this?
I see kind of a pattern of what Kawhi Leonard did a couple seasons ago with Toronto. He played, I think, 60 games, 62 games. Turned out pretty well for Kawhi that year.
It did.
Up north there. So I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron says, all right, we're going to play 72 games. I don't think he sits out like a month to start the season or anything crazy like that, but he might pick and choose. And I think the NBA powers that be have to understand that star players who went deep into the bubble playoffs are probably going to be a little reluctant to try to get all 72 games under their belt, especially that man right there, LeBron James, who gave us a lot in 4 rounds of the playoffs.
BK?
Yeah, I honestly, guys, remember when we were coming into last season, the assumption was the Lakers would take it easy. They'd take care of LeBron's body. They'd take care of AD's body because, he's had some injury questions over the course of his career. Yeah. And did they? Absolutely not. There was no load management. They hit the ground running. They took the regular season incredibly seriously. They did all this stuff that we didn't think that they would do last year. That's what they're going to do this year if they really do start on December 22nd. That's how it's going to be because they're going to have to. They're going to have to take care of LeBron's body. They're going to have to take care of AD. Guys like Danny Green, some of the other veterans on the team, because there was such a short off season, they're not going to have much of a choice. So I would imagine they have a template ready for it because it was probably one that existed last season that they never used.
And I was going to say, Brez, with Anthony Davis and what he said after that restart, that 4.5 months, what it did for him to heal. Remember, these guys are used to having the 4 months off. Now you expect there to be some load managing, right? That's got to be part of the template.
It has to be. Frank Vogel will do the right thing for sure in conjunction with Rob Pelinka, trying to figure out a way to make sure that the Laker players are ready for this potentially quick restart to next season. Anthony Davis, he finished second in the Defensive Player of the Year award, presumably finished second in the Finals MVP voting, although that's never publicized. Here's an award he would win. Leaving the court after an apparent injury and coming right back in the game. I mean, the guy is always getting dinged up.
Scary.
Scary. Plays super hard. He got hit in the eye like 37 times this past season. And every time he kept coming back. And I appreciate that in him. And he needs some time to rest, for sure. It's probably not going to happen, especially if December 22nd really is going to be set in stone pretty soon.
It's funny, though, BK, the other side of that, you look at guys like Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson, they haven't played in a year and a half. You look at a lot of the other teams that weren't invited to the bubble, they haven't played since March. That's a long time.
It's everything about this year has been weird, and it's going to be an unusual basketball season next year, too. And even teams that, Portland, Utah, teams that were out in the first round, by the time Christmas rolls around, that's a reasonable offseason given the conditions that we're playing under. There's a way they can do this that I think protects some of these teams that were there a little bit longer. Maybe you give them a few more off days at the beginning of the season, stagger it again like Ethan Strauss at The Athletic put out there. Maybe the Lakers and Heat start a week and a half later, whatever it might be. There are ways to protect these guys that they're going to have to explore. But if the league wants their revenue back and the players want this revenue, and they do, and I don't blame them, it does seem like you need to start around Christmas.
Yeah, this is good news for some of the young teams in the West, as if the West needs more competition. But teams like Sacramento and Phoenix, teams that were close to making the playoffs but didn't. New Orleans, of course, another one of those teams, kind of a young team. They're going to be ready because they were done very quickly after barely 8 seeding games, and that was it for them. So those teams will be ready to go, in addition to the Knicks, the Bulls, the T-Wolves, some young, potentially up-and-coming teams, although I won't say that about the Knicks. Like you said, that drought goes back to 73.
I don't know if everyone heard me earlier, but L.A., one of the cities with multiple championships in the same year. Here's a look. L.A.'s done it 88, 01, 02, 12, 14, and 20. New York, the next closest there, 27, 28, 33, 38, 56, and 86. And Detroit has done it 3 times. When the final horn sounded, the Lakers had won their first title in 10 years, and on a day that was more than a year later from when the season actually started, the Lakers could finally celebrate. Our backstage cameras were there to capture those intimate moments reserved only for champions. Enjoy.
It don't matter where it is. If you win a championship, a bubble, Miami, Golden State, it doesn't matter. When you get to this point, it's one of the greatest feelings in the world. Sometimes you can't explain what links you with somebody, and then it's that organic. And sometimes you don't even try to explain it. Sometimes you guys ask me about my relationship with AD. The first thing I think about is the respect, the no ego, the challenging each other.
12 months. A whole calendar year plus. A whole calendar year plus. A whole calendar year plus. Hey, by the way, I'm actually won my 4th title in my 18th season, if you really want to be technical. You know what I'm saying? No, I like 17. I like the 17. You know what I'm saying? I like this. Man, this is what we came here to do. See that goal? Worth the 12 months. So worth everything. Oh my goodness. I need some goggles.
What do you think really makes it work between you two?
Respect, true friendship. That's off the court. I mean, we're close on the court, but you guys see us off the court, man. It's unreal. I'm always at his house. He always at my house. This is through the entire season, and like I say, it's no jealousy. No one's envy of each other. Guys don't have personal agendas. We're just 2 guys who just want to win. We just put it all together.
I've always believed in LeBron James. He's the greatest player the basketball universe has ever seen. And if you think you know, you don't know, okay, until you're around him every day. And it's just been a remarkable experience coaching him, seeing him take this group that was not in the playoffs last year and just taking a group and leading us to the promised land, so they say.
This was very challenging and difficult. And it played with your mind, played with your body. You're away from some of the things that you're so accustomed to make you be the professional that you are. And I heard some rumblings from people that's not in the bubble. That you don't have to travel. There's, whatever, people just doubting what goes on in here. This is right up there with one of the greatest accomplishments I have.
While this was the Kings' 4th NBA championship, it was the first for many of his teammates.
Towards the end of that game, you kind of walked into the back. What was going through your mind?
I was 25 seconds from becoming a champion, and it got emotional. It's a tight journey that I've been on, my team's been on, the organization's been on. It all just came full circle with the championship, and so I just got really emotional. He was bothering me. and telling me, oh, you know, you soft, you cry, baby, and I walked to the back, and it was the banner trophy that I just like kind of grabbed, and then, you know, we walked back out to the court. But it was an unbelievable feeling and just an emotional moment for me.
And guess what? I like the vision behind you guys.
Oh man, I don't even think I'm asleep, but it's gonna be amazing. Just to hear that word champion, you know, you feel it in your heart. You know, you say it to yourself, but to see it actually manifest, then it means a lot.
Yeah, this is everything. It's still sitting in. Like I'm half drunk right now from all the champagne, so I don't know how to act exactly. But man, just a kid from Flint, Michigan. It's crazy. You know, almost didn't go to college. Wasn't supposed to get drafted, and you know, NBA champion. You know, it's unbelievable.
It's just part of your legacy. And to say you're a champion, not everybody can say that.